I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me.
She said, just read it, because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience.
A brand new and explosive lawsuit has emerged in the ongoing controversy involving Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. This time, the legal battle is dragging some of Hollywood's biggest names into the fray, including the mega celebrity Taylor Swift, who reportedly became entangled in the dispute through her close friendship with Blake. According to the shocking new allegations, Justin Baldoni has filed suit against Blake Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, their publicist Leslie Sloan, and one of Blake's major allies, presumed to be Taylor Swift, for a range of serious claims. These claims include civil extortion, defamation, false light invasion of privacy, and more. As details leak from the court filings, the story grows ever more bizarre, painting a picture of tensions on the set of the anticipated film It Ends With Us, one of Colleen Hoover's most famous novels. It appears that even from the earliest days of production, creative disagreements and personal tensions were brewing, eventually leading to the lawsuit we see today. Although many believed early reports suggested only trivial set disputes, Justin Baldoni's new evidence indicates serious allegations of misconduct, manipulation, and intimidation. For the first time since these rumors began, Justin isn't just coming with receipts. He is coming forward with what he describes as untampered evidence that puts him in the clear while showing how, in his view, Blake was a significant source of disruption during filming. Some of those disruptions allegedly happened in private text messages, on-set interactions, and, surprisingly, moments involving Blake's inner circle, particularly her husband Ryan Reynolds and her best friend Taylor Swift. In a lawsuit that could upend relationships and reputations in Hollywood, Justin is determined to prove that Blake and her dragons used their influence to coerce him into making changes to the film he never agreed to, and to silence him whenever creative differences arose. According to the lawsuit, one key incident revolves around the script for a rooftop scene in It Ends With Us. Blake reportedly sent Justin a newly revised script, expecting him to accept it immediately. Instead, he expressed a few reservations, which he says were part of the normal collaborative process.
I was testing for a show that ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well, and I was one of two people maybe, and then I get a call from my managers and my agent. They were both on the line, which means it's something serious.
Right.
Either you got the job or there's something wrong.
Yeah, no.
And they said, so you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distracting.
Oh, what?
Oh no.
And then they went like, so what can we do about your eyebrows?
He did not imagine that any slight pushback would result in additional pressure coming from sources outside the film's core production team. That pressure, according to court documents, soon came from Blake's husband, Ryan Reynolds, and the mega celebrity friend widely believed to be Taylor Swift. The documents explicitly mention the phrase dragons to describe Ryan and Taylor, suggesting they were used to strong-arm Justin into acquiescing to the changes in the script. One text message excerpt reveals that Justin wrote Blake to clarify he was perfectly fine with her new pages and hadn't needed Reynolds and her mega celebrity friend to pressure him. Blake responded by saying that Ryan and Taylor were her dragons, hinting that she considered them powerful protectors who could make life very difficult for anyone who stood in her way. Many who have read these filings find the dragons reference strange yet telling. It not only indicates the deep level of support Blake had during production, but also suggests an environment where Justin felt he could not freely express his legitimate concerns without facing possible retribution. The lawsuit frames this as more than mere creative differences. It casts the combined clout of Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift as a means to intimidate Justin or overshadow his own authority regarding the film. Moreover, the documents claim that Blake's knowledge of the original novel was superficial at best, especially in the early stages of pre-production. Even as filming progressed, Justin claims Blake repeatedly demonstrated that she had not read or understood key sections of the Colleen Hoover book. At one point, she allegedly Googled the hair color of the protagonist, Lily Bloom, rather than glancing at the source material. Text messages introduced in the court filings seem to confirm that she was uncertain of basic facts regarding the characters she was portraying. A further point of tension involves an uncomfortable on-set incident. Justin remembers shooting a scene with Blake in which she apologized to him for her body makeup and the smell of her spray tan. He insists he never raised any issue about the smell or her appearance and responded only with, "It smells good." before moving on with the scene. However, Blake's own complaint, filed in December 2024, tells a different story. She alleges that Justin behaved inappropriately, leaning in too close and stating, "It smells so good," in a manner she claims was non-consensual and off-script. He vehemently denies this and offers another perspective altogether. He says it was actually Blake who made an inappropriate remark. She joked about him needing a nose job. Court documents indicate that while he tried to laugh this off,
It's based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles in her life and breaks them and ends the circle. And I hope people find it inspiring, and yet also, it's a film about a heavy topic. It's about domestic violence.
she persisted in urging him to consider plastic surgery, fully aware of his well-documented insecurity about his nose. This irony has not gone unnoticed by followers of the lawsuit, who question why she would accuse Justin of making a comment about her body when, in fact, her own remarks targeted his physical appearance. His side includes audio-visual evidence as well as text messages, which allegedly capture Blake's nose job comments on camera. He further explains that he previously hosted a conversation on body dysmorphia on his podcast Man Enough, indicating that he has long been open about such insecurities. The fact that this personal vulnerability might have been teased by his colleague, someone he once considered a friend, adds another layer to the animosity. The lawsuit highlights a pattern of behavior, suggesting that Blake repeatedly crossed professional boundaries and used her star power, bolstered by her close connections to Ryan and Taylor, to control the narrative. As if these alleged actions were not enough, the lawsuit also claims that Blake's team chose an especially cruel moment to serve Justin with legal papers in January 2025. At that time, he was under severe stress, evacuating his Los Angeles home due to dangerous wildfires. The documents paint a stark contrast. While Justin and his loved ones were gathering pets, making go bags, and preparing for the possibility that their home might be destroyed, Blake, safe in her New York penthouse, sent process servers to escalate legal measures. Observers of the case find this decision indicative of either deep animosity or a strategic legal tactic designed to catch him at his most vulnerable. Critics of Blake's approach see this as a sign of insensitivity and a willingness to put pressure on him no matter the personal cost. Additional revelations in court filings describe how, at the film's premiere, she allegedly ensured that Justin was made to stay in a basement area to avoid crossing paths with her in public. This arrangement, humiliating in his view, was then followed by a bizarre demand. Blake and Ryan insisted that Justin publicly apologize for certain alleged missteps during production in order to help shield Blake from negative media coverage. They presented him with a pre-written statement to read, but he refused to comply, unwilling to apologize for things he contends never happened. This refusal, he says, triggered an even more aggressive approach from Blake, resulting in one-sided accusations made against him in the media. Throughout these ordeals, the lawsuit stresses that the production's overarching theme of domestic abuse survival was compromised by some of Blake's decisions. One of the original stipulations in Justin's deal for adapting It Ends With Us was that 1% of proceeds would be donated to support survivors of domestic violence, channeled to the organization No More. He believes strongly in this initiative, given that Colleen Hoover's novel deals heavily with themes of resilience and escape from abuse.
She said, just read it, because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience. And
Were you reading romance novels?
And I had never read a romance novel.
Never?
And she said, just trust me, read it. So I read it, and by the end of the book, I couldn't even read the text on the page because I was crying so much. My wife was in bed next to me, and she's, I got snot coming out of my nose.
Yet the court documents claim Blake refused to engage with the charity in a meaningful way. Instead, she allegedly shifted focus to endeavors that were not in her contract, such as costume designing, script rewriting, and heavily promoting her alcohol brand, Betty Booze. This promotion of Betty Booze, the lawsuit argues, was especially problematic, considering many statistics link alcohol abuse to higher incidences of domestic violence. Worse still, reports emerged that she had named a special drink, Real, at her premiere after party, a nod to a flawed character from the film known for initiating acts of violence. Justin's legal team says this sent a harmful message that was both tone-deaf and contradictory to the film's central themes. By capitalizing on a reference to domestic abuse within the story, she risked trivializing a serious issue and undermining the production's stated commitment to support survivors. As fans and onlookers attempt to piece together what went wrong, The pre-existing friendship between Justin and Blake adds another dimension to the dispute. Court papers and text messages show that at one time they exchanged jokes, memes, and personal anecdotes, checking in with each other regularly. They would even recall one another's preferences. Blake noted his love for hot matcha tea, for example, which was then readily available on set. When she faced serious family health concerns, he reportedly offered emotional support and concern. She thanked him in texts, applauding his creativity and expressing how proud she was of their work. Some playful banter occurred, such as him telling her he liked sentimental Blake, and she joking that she had never met her, to which he replied that he also liked ass Blake. She promptly quipped she had met that version of herself. Their rapport was relaxed enough that one might assume working together would be easy and fun. Then, according to Justin's lawsuit, she overstepped her contractual boundaries, making decisions that conflicted with the established production plan and overshadowed the creative roles of other team members. Wardrobe provided one early example. She insisted her small business owner character wear luxury items priced at thousands of dollars, contravening the script's depiction of a more modestly budgeted persona. She also demanded that wardrobe be delivered to her private residence daily, costing extra money and time. The lawsuit goes on to mention that she unilaterally fired editors already working on the project, bringing in her own team. In addition, the original award-winning composer, who had recorded a full score, was replaced with someone associated with Ryan's recent project. All of this, he contends, inflated production expenses and undermined the professionals he had carefully chosen.
I'm honored, and I'm also more honored that because, what we're talking about is so important and so meaningful, that we're able to have this much anticipation, and so many people want to go see it and are talking about it. That's what I'm grateful for.
And you had a key part in bringing it to the big screen. How did this all come to be?
Well, in 2019, I read the book. I was sent the book by my book agent and friend at the time, and I was looking for films that could inspire, that were commercially viable, but also could really reach in and touch somebody's heart.
Furthermore, he alleges that Taylor Swift was brought in to finalize music decisions related to the film's soundtrack, tying her into the growing swirl of complications. While fans initially assumed that Taylor's involvement was limited to a few songs, the court documents suggest she was part of exerting pressure on him, echoing the dragon label used in the text messages. If true, it would mean that Taylor used her powerful status to back Blake in her disputes, ensuring that any resistance from Justin could be swatted aside. With mounting frustrations and an accumulation of alleged wrongdoings, he is now seeking $400 million in damages from Blake, Ryan, Taylor, and their associates. The figure reflects not only the potential financial losses he believes he suffered, but also the reputational harm he claims was orchestrated by Blake's team. Many are comparing this high-stakes case to some of Hollywood's most dramatic legal showdowns, noting that the star power of everyone involved significantly raises the stakes. His attorney, Brian Fredman, has publicly declared that they have an extensive and detailed collection of text messages, emails, videos, and other documentation that will definitively back up his version of events. He has implied that once this material is made public, it will be evident that her claims are rife with misrepresentation. In one particularly strong statement, Brian remarked that Blake Lively was either severely misled by her team or intentionally and knowingly misrepresented the truth. He warned that the trial would put a stop to what he describes as her habit of exploiting real victims of abuse to boost her own reputation. The references to exploiting actual victims appear tied to the film's theme of domestic violence, as well as to the overshadowed efforts to partner with No More. Given the public condemnation of any celebrity who appears to trivialize abuse, these revelations could severely impact her reputation, as well as that of Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift. The lawsuit also hints that more evidence will be presented about how the trio supposedly intimidated him, further reinforcing the narrative that they collectively used their clout to stifle his concerns. Taylor Swift's role remains particularly curious to fans. She has maintained total silence about the controversy, offering no public statements or clarifications. Observers initially believed she was simply allowing some of her music to be featured as part of the film's soundtrack, but the lawsuit reveals a more entangled involvement, one that may have included threatening him and actively pressuring him to comply with Blake's creative and personal demands.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious for her.
While Taylor's lawyers have not issued official statements, her fan base is divided. Some find the allegations shocking and out of character, while others note that her long-standing friendship with Blake might explain the depth of her loyalty, regardless of any behind-the-scenes conflict. As this lawsuit develops, it presents a far more disturbing picture than most casual Hollywood watchers ever imagined. What started as rumors of on-set tension has erupted into claims of intimidation, an alleged pattern of controlling behavior by Blake, and a swirl of legal strategies timed for maximum impact. For many, the biggest surprise is that these beloved celebrities, known publicly for their philanthropic efforts and fan-friendly personas, might be so deeply entrenched in a web of coercion and extortion as the lawsuit alleges. While each side will get its day in court, the public is left to speculate on the truth behind the sensational claims. This is where the story stands now, at the crossroads of a colossal Hollywood feud that has roped in big-name actors, a major pop star, and a production that was supposed to shed light on domestic violence issues. Those following the events wonder how the interplay between star power, personal friendships, and contractual responsibilities managed to spiral into a $400 million legal nightmare. Observers note that the outcome could reshape professional relationships among these high-profile figures and impact how future projects handle star demands, creative disagreements, and charitable tie-ins. In a town where image is everything, the potential fallout is massive, with careers and reputations hanging in the balance. Fans, critics, and insiders are all eagerly waiting to see how each party will proceed. Will Blake, Ryan, and Taylor offer a public rebuttal, or will they try to settle things discreetly behind closed doors? Will Justin's evidence actually prove his narrative of bullying and betrayal, or will a different story emerge under scrutiny? Many believe the next steps could involve depositions and the release of further private messages, either strengthening his claims or vindicating Blake and her allies. For now, the only certainty is that this highly publicized conflict has rocked Hollywood, and the lawsuit's outcome could set precedents for how celebrities resolve conflicts that spill far beyond simple script disputes. That's the most recent update on the extraordinary lawsuit that has the entire entertainment world talking. The prospect of a trial featuring bombshell evidence and high-stakes testimonies has fans bracing for explosive revelations. Let us know in the comments where you stand. Do you believe Justin Baldoni's account of manipulation and intimidation? Or do you think Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Taylor Swift will have strong evidence that contradicts his claims? One thing is clear, this controversy isn't going away anytime soon. Stay tuned for more updates as the lawsuit unfolds and these major Hollywood figures prepare for what could be one of the most talked about legal battles in recent memory.